The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Hello and welcome into Week 5 of the Mike Clowney Show. Hello, everyone. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier, alongside Carson Newman head football coach Mike Clowney as we recap and recount a 33-27 heartbreaker on the road in Salisbury, North Carolina to the Catawba College, Catawba Indians. Mike Clowney, this was probably one of the more unique games that one could ever be involved in. I can't think of a game in 15 years of covering football where it was 7-7 after a quarter and the offense for one team had not run a single play. How difficult is it to get stuff sorted out about your team when you have 7 possessions in a game that literally the drives, both good and bad, are one-play drives?
Well, as far as the first quarter, it's hard. Like the guy sitting on the sideline, you come out with that energy and you want to, be able to, stop them, get the ball, go score, but, Catawba put a long drive together at the very beginning, which you hopefully defensively, we can kind of stir up a little bit of energy and get off the field to kind of prevent that from happening, which they scored on, and then we returned the ensuing kickoff for touchdown. So like that part was exciting. So, the game's right back to 0-0, but you still haven't played us play on offense yet.
You look at what you're doing offensively, and this one, if you purely look at the statistics, you might think, oh, you really didn't do much. But you only ran 45 plays. Catawba outgained you by about 200 yards, but you had the higher yards per play average just because of 3 special teams touchdowns, but you turned it over 4 times. After 24 hours to sit and think on this one, how do you grade how the offense grew in spite of 4 turnovers?
It's hard to take away the turnovers and critical errors because, those are drive stoppers and that prevents you from being able to move the football and score, especially, in the areas in which they happen. We've got one in a critical moment in the game and then another one like we're going in to score. And so, ifs and buts, if you take those away, then hopefully we can go in and score and then there's another touchdown there that you need to win the game. But, there are points and times to where we move the football, fairly efficiently. Had a couple plays where we throw and caught really well. The timing, from the passing game was a little bit better. And so you could see some of those things, but we don't get to take advantage of them because we turn the ball
over. Zone blocking up front in the running game. Tick up to Troy Dendy, another game where he shines running the football.
Yeah, and we still got to do a better job of staying on guys up front. But, Troy, a lot of just extra effort plays. And he did a good job of kind of being patient, finding out what was there and then hitting it. But, just a great effort from Troy.
Carson Newman falls on the road to Catawba in a heartbreaker, 33-27. We'll break down the first half after these messages. This is the Mike Clowney Show. All right, back on the Mike Clowney Show. Carson Newman drops one on the road to the Catawba College Catawba Indians, 33-27. I'm Adam Cavalier, alongside Carson Newman head football coach Mike Clowney. Mike, to talk about the successes in this one, my goodness, you have to talk about special teams, and let's start with Daquan Dudley. One, school record, 239-yard kickoff return yards in a single game, breaking Lonnie Williams' record from 2014 against Brevard. And with that, he only does it on 3 returns. And as a result of that, he is the new NCAA Division II record holder for yards per kickoff returns at 76.3. 2 100-yard kickoff returns for touchdowns. The 100-yard returns are the 5th and 6th in school history. And I think that's everything. Daquan Dudley, if he's not National Special Teams Player of the Week, I'd like to see what got that. What about the job he did returning kicks, and what about the job Antonio Goss's return units did setting that up?
I think the thing that you need, I told Coach Goss, good job after the game. He's like, man, it was the kids. He's like, they did it. He's like, they went out and they got it done. And so with Dudley, I mean, the first return, just when you watch it on video, what a great effort. There's some times in there he kind of gets pinned in, he keeps his feet moving, he continues to run, and he finds a hole, and then he's able to kind of, return it for a touchdown. And then the second one, I mean, the guys did a great job of blocking. I mean, there was like no one in that area. He hits the hole, and he's got the speed that, once he gets ahead, he's got a chance to finish it. And so that was fun. That was fun to watch. Just kind of a total unit effort on the returns, and then the punt block. Their punter's really good, and we knew that one thing that we need to do to kind of prevent him from banging the ball way down the field was just to try to, get someone in his face and get pressure on him. But Desmond Bernard was able to get around the corner, flatten out, block the punt, and then EJ Davis finds it in the end zone. So that was exciting.
It's probably all the more frustrating because of those positive moments that you had in special teams, that this is one that slips away.
Yep, it's when you go back and you watch the game on video and you think about the moments that, as Carson, we were really good. You throw those plays in there, and those are the plays that, bring you to championship caliber football team. Once you start kind of, tightening some things up defensively and finding a flow to where we can, bank on our offense, putting points on the board, then, you're starting to see tight Carson football that we want to see.
The sudden change that was persistent throughout on Saturday, and not just in special teams, but with turnovers. How do you coach through those situations where, honestly, it felt like it was a Pyrrhic victory at points because of how long your defense ended up being on the field, 40-plus minutes?
Just like the returns, like we talk about the very beginning of the game, the defense was on the field. I can't remember exactly how many plays, but it was a long drive. But we scored one and they're right back out there. And so a lot of that, you just in the moment, you just have to be settled and work your way through it. Whether it's us turning the ball over or us scoring quick, and you just have to go out and respond. I thought there were points at times to where, those guys did that. And so that's what we're talking about. Like, that was something that was good to see, defensively. I don't think we got rattled. I think we made some mistakes in the game, but I don't think we ever let that be an issue.
Defensively, Rondro Peebles, Alonzo Houston, all over the place again. Justice Alexander mentioned it to you in the postgame show. I don't think I've ever seen a D lineman with 7 solo tackles, and that beat his production for the day. In the face of being on the field for 42 minutes, especially in the fourth quarter, how do you grade them out?
I think overall those guys did a good job. We put them in a tough situation, But now the thing that you get to is when you are scoring and the game is close, there's a lot more encouragement there. And that was one thing I thought you'd see with those guys. They knew that we had every opportunity to win the football game, and they were out there busting their tails trying to give us the best chance we could get.
Carson Newman trailed at the halftime break to the Catawba College Catawba Indians. We take a look at those first half highlights.
Left in Black and Thomas. Avon out of the pistol, Parker behind him. Snap back, handoff Parker left side. Parker stringing it out. Parker to the goal line. Parker is in. Touchdown, Catawba. A methodical 15-play 7. Lines it up and boots it away. A nice end-over-end kick will come down to Dudley along the right hashes in the end zone. Dudley straight ahead across the 20 and 25. Dudley across the 40. Dudley has a blocker past midfield. Dudley steaming ahead across the 30. Cuts back left over the sack logo to the 15 and 10. Dudley, the distance. Touchdown, Carson Newman. Daquan Dudley, 100 yards to pay dirt. And the Eagles strike on a kickoff return for the score.
Great job blocking by Carson Newman as a whole on that kickoff return. Great blocks down the football field as well. I think the final block was from Kanan Vandenberg down inside of Catawba.
Possession of the game. Avent from the gun. Ball at the Carson Newman 34. Takes the snap, blitzed up the middle, rolls left. Rondro Peebles has him in his grasp, and Peebles slings down Avent back at the 47-yard line. He does not escape from the All-American. Peebles minus 13 back to the 47, and that takes Catawba out of Clayton Crowell's field goal range. Eagles get a stop.
This time around.
8:40 to play in the second quarter. 7-7 ball game. Indians moving left to right. 3rd and 6 from the Eagle 15. Avent back to pass. Screen. Left side. Martin. One-on-one with Houston. Martin won't win the battle. Houston and Payne stop him in the backfield. In the boundary left side. Back at the 20. A loss of 5, and the Eagles defense stiffens.
That's a great
Left. One man to the short side right is Jean-Baptiste. Brown out of the gun for 2nd and 5 from his own 30 at the right hash. Snap back. Brown rolls left. Has time. Going to settle. Chuck it to Helms. Helms hauls it in at the 40. And Ty Helms into Catawba territory. Forced out of bounds by Deverick Daniel down at the 33-yard line. What a window.
Those are the first half highlights here on the Mike Clowney Show. Eagles drop one on the road to Catawba, 33-27. Mike Clowney, what was your halftime message in the locker room to your team?
You know, we've talked a couple times this year, like with a close, you know, we're kind of behind with a chance to win, you know, as being where we want to be and coming back out and finishing the game. You know, for us at this halftime, you know, like we're in that situation again where we weren't where we want to be. We want to be winning at halftime. We want to have a lead and we want to come, but we still want to come out and finish the game. And so our message was we were getting the ball back. Let's come out. Let's go get a lead and start winning and never stop. And, you know, we returned the kickoff.
Yeah, couldn't draw up a better start to the second half. Daquan Dudley, 100 yards, and you mentioned it earlier. Nobody came within a body length of touching him.
You know, those guys up front did a great job to where, you know, Coach Goss and our other coaches that work with him on special teams, you know, like when you go watch that video and you see like, you know, you're responsible for 1, you're responsible for 2, you got 4, you got 5, and just to see all of those guys get covered up. And we had 2 guys that come off of their block, you know, and then lead up on the next 2 guys coming, the safety backside and the kicker. And, you know, he was just off to the races. And so, like, you know, to see that get coached the way you want to be coached and executed the way you want to be executed was something that's fun to watch.
Had positive things happening on the next 2 drives. Troy Dendy slogs it inside Catawba territory, gets it down to the 20 and just gets hit perfectly from behind, fumble. Next possession, Daquan Dudley has a 25-yard punt return, gets speared, hat on a ball, ball's out. I know I witnessed it with my own eyes. You worked on ball security in practice this week. How frustrating are moments like that? In my mind, in part, 2 absolutely perfect hits where it's going to be tough to maintain possession of the football, but you're doing positive things and lose it.
You know, because when you practice and you work on those situations, you want to put yourself in the toughest situation that you can be so that you can take care of the football when you do get that perfect hit. And just to know that that's something that we do coach and work on. You know, the thing that happens sometimes with a ball carrier is we have that tendency to get lackadaisical. We take our focus off the ball and put it down the field. And that's the reason those guys were able to make those plays, because their eyes were downfield and they were running. But the ball security part, it has to be automatic. That can't be something that you think about. It's got to be something that you do all the time.
Carson Newman drops one on the road to Catawba, 33-27. We'll break down the second half following these messages. This is the Mike Clowney Show. Back on the Mike Clowney Show as Carson Newman drops one to Catawba 33-27 in Salisbury. I'm Adam Cavalier alongside the Eagles head man, Mike Clowney. Mike, you look at this second half, and again, we've touched on the turnovers, 4 of them for a third consecutive week. How were they different compared to the giveaways that you had against UVA Wise and against Barton? How were they the same?
I think they're the same in the fact that we have 4 and you have to take care of the football. They're different in a sense to where, like, I think this time we can see directly how they affect the game. You're a touchdown away from winning this football game, and you have 4 turnovers. And so a lot of times I think, the turnovers have caused the scores to look a little bit more lopsided than I think the talent. But I think this one, the turnovers have caused the scores where you can see, like, it literally prevented you from having an opportunity to win the football game.
We've touched on the time of possession. Again, Catawba held the football for 42 minutes. Really didn't have sustained drives for scores outside of their first, which to their credit was a 15-play, 70-yard march that bled 7:42 off the first quarter clock. But then the final one that put them ahead about midway through the fourth quarter drove 75 plays after you had gone ahead. How much did fatigue, or did it play a factor at all at that stage in the game?
When you go and you look at the difference in the play totals, then I'm sure there's points and times that you can look at that. But I think in the moment of the football game, like, we have to find a way to capitalize. If we can go get a stop in 3 plays, then we don't have to play that many plays. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's kind of where, we have to make sure that, we go out and we execute. I think we had a penalty that kept that drive going.
Yeah, it aided. I think there's a roughing the passer penalty somewhere in that one.
And so there are a couple of little things like that where we can give ourselves a chance to get out the field, and we've got to capitalize on those.
LaMarcus Brown, you look at his continued maturation and development as your freshman quarterback. You look at the stat sheet after the game, and it says 6 of 17 completions. In my head, it didn't feel like he only completed 6 passes. Again, probably part of that is the nature of just how few plays that you got to run. But how did he do in week 2 of being the starter?
I thought, at points where, getting the ball out of his hand in the passing game, the passes that we caught a little bit early on in the game. I thought he did a good job executing, timing, knowing where receivers were going to be. I thought the receivers did a good job of, working to give him places to put the football, as the game goes along and we're not playing as much. There's been a couple shots thrown in there. I think we still at that point when later in the game, we've got to be a little bit more laser focused and be able to execute, when the pressure's on.
Carson Newman drops one on the road to Catawba, 33-27. We break down the second half highlights here on the Mike Clowney Show.
Wants to bring it out. Dudley across the 15 and 20 to the 25 along the right hashes. Dudley with sprinter's speed into Catawba territory. See you later. Daquan Dudley, 100 yards for the second time today. He sprints for 6. Touchdown, Carson Newman. Tie game, 12 seconds in. Left hash at their own 17-yard line. Avent out of the gun with Martin to his right. Snap back, handoff Martin, picking his way, stretch play left side, and he is tripped up in the backfield. Jackson Ward and Rondro Peebles snap him down for a loss of 4, back to the 13. Third down, 13 to go. Carson Newman defensively trying to force a second straight 3-and-out with a 14-13 lead and 12:20 to play in the third quarter. Looking to take a lead.
Parker into the second level. He's across the 10 and 5, racing to the goal line. Parker touches the pylon. Touchdown, Catawba. Daniel Parker, his first.
Moving left to right in all blue. 2nd and 10 from the Carson Newman 40. Avent out of the gun, hands off Parker right side. Houston into the backfield, and he seizes him for a loss of 5 back to the 45. Alonzo Houston cues up the run blitz, and with 3rd and 15, right hash at the Eagle 45. Avent takes the shotgun snap, rolls the pocket left, hit by Alexander from behind, and Avent just has to dump it to Parker, who was back blocking. An incompletion, 4th down, 15 to go. Justice Alexander living in the backfield, making life a nightmare for Avent, and the Eagles defense holds tight. Well, I mentioned the 10. You talk about the time. Catawba has held the football for 32 minutes and 57 seconds compared to 12:03 for the Eagles. Johnny Long's conditioning going to be put to the test on 1st and goal as a zone read keeper. Avent right side, kicking it out to the right pylon. Avent reaching for the end zone, and Avent is in. Touchdown, Catawba. Ken Avent calls his own number on the zone read keeper, and he races right to the pylon, kicked out around the block, and finds the end zone to put the Indians up 26-21, 9 seconds into the 4th quarter. Eagles, Brown in the gun, Dindy to his left, 2 wide to the wide side right. McCarthy in motion to the left, now back to the right. Brown takes the shotgun snap, steps up, airs it long, left sideline. That is batted around. Helms is able to juggle it and catch it inside the 20, down at the 16, and the play comes to an end with him on his keister. Bagley, 2nd and goal from the 3. Abner, tight end in motion to the right. Snap back. Brown, bootleg to the left. Brown racing to the pylon. He's in. Touchdown, Carson Newman. Eagles lead 27-26. Brown calls his own number on the 3-yard bootleg to the left. Defense was sucked in. Brown bounces it out, and he houses it from 3 yards out. Indians the football, 1st and 10 from the Carson Newman 19. Avent in the gun. Parker to his left. Trips go to the wide side right. 4-man front and a rush from the left. Avent avoids it. Dumps it to the left. Complete to Parker out of the backfield on a wheel route. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Catawba. Eagles brought pressure from the left. It whiffed, and Avent able to dump it to the left sideline for a 19-yard connection with Parker. Catawba retakes the lead. Those are the second half highlights in Carson Newman's loss at Catawba, 33-27. When we come back, it's time for our Eagles Spotlight. Stay with us. This is The Mike Clowney Show. Back on the Mike Clowney Show, time now for our Eagle Spotlight. And this week, Michael Watrang puts it on freshman quarterback LaMarcus Brown.
LaMarcus Brown was a highly touted recruit coming out of high school, drawing interest from numerous Division I schools. However, Carson Newman separated itself from the bigger programs and brought in the talented quarterback. When the freshman was put into a game for the first time this season in Week 3 at UVA Wise, he had a lifelong of experiences that prepared him for that moment.
From a young age, I've been playing in a lot of tough situations. My senior year in high school, went through a lot of tough situations with family and games I couldn't even play in because I wasn't practicing for real because of family issues and death in family and stuff like that. So that really I always been a strong person to handle all that type of stuff. In the beginning of the season, I wasn't really ready to play. I had to learn more plays, get more comfortable with the game and stuff like that. But I really got thrown in there earlier than what I thought I was going to be put in the game, so I had to adjust to it.
One of the key traits for any quarterback is the ability to have a commanding presence in the huddle. Despite being a true freshman, offensive coordinator Brock Pursley has seen Brown's confidence carry the team in tough situations.
I think the thing about LaMarcus is just his natural leadership ability and his calmness under center. I think one of the things that stuck out from the game that he did start in this past weekend was it's 4th and 2, big moment of the game, and there was a timeout or something, and he's out on the field dancing and having fun, and just he's relaxed and he's calm. And I think just that aura about him, about that leadership and just that calmness is what you can kind of see the future of how he's going to be able to react and respond to just different kinds of adversity within himself and the team and what goes on within the game.
Brown admitted the transition to college was a challenge, being in a completely new system in Carson Newman's offense. Time is a friend for the rookie signal caller. What is Persley's game plan for Brown's career? Growth each season.
He develops, and over the course of those 4 years, you can see him, the mistakes he made as a freshman, he made fewer of those as a sophomore and became more technical as a junior. And by the time he's a senior, he's a really technical guy. He can get us in and out of the right plays. He can do all the things right. And I think that's what success for him over 4 years looks like, is every year take what you weren't good at and just keep improving on those things over and over and over, and understanding more of what are your reads going to be, what are your personal goals, what are they going to look like, what are our team goals going to look like. And over those 4 years of, can we look back and see every year, did you improve on those little things?
While progression on the field is critical for a football player, the Mobile, Alabama native wasted no time expressing his main priority at Carson Newman.
I really want to accomplish graduating college. That is my main focus, because in my family that I know of, I'm the only person to really go to college and try to be successful, especially with going to college with sports. None of my family have been to college in sports. I'm the first person to ever do that in my family that I know of. And that's a big achievement. That set a goal for my little brother and sisters. So I just want to do that and make them have something to look up to. And that's one of my main goals I want to do, and lead Carson Newman to winning some football games.
LaMarcus Brown's journey has come with some bumps in the road, but he has been given the keys to an historically potent Carson Newman offense. Head coach Mike Clowney puts the responsibility on the coaching staff, asking, quote, what are things we can do to allow him to be successful and also allow him to be challenged and grow? With 4 years, dozens of games, and hundreds of snaps in his future, the Eagles offense is in capable hands. For the Mike Clowney Show, I'm Michael Wattrang.
All right, thank you very much, Michael Wattrang. Mike Clowney, we talked about LaMarcus before the break. Pretty tough ask to turn the keys over of the offense to a freshman, but what an interesting journey he has taken through his recruiting process to make it to Mossy Creek, and now starting to show some of the fruits of that.
Yeah, I mean, in the recruiting process, LaMarcus and his dad come in, and just what a great family, be able to kind of, take time to spend with them, and, they've never really probably been to this area. He's from a good little ways away, and so it was just good, on the recruiting visit to have him up. And it was almost like it was a natural fit, natural fit for him, natural fit for us. And we come in and talk in the office, and, he kind of commits on the spot. And just, I think his growth and development over the next 4 years is going to be something that we all look forward to.
All right, finally, after a month, you get to come back to Burke-Tart Stadium. It's Hall of Fame weekend. Jabez Floyd, Mike Schlechter, both will be inducted into the Athletics Hall of Fame. And you welcome in a team that has spent portions of this season in the top 5 in the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears, fresh off of a thrilling fourth quarter win over Tusculum at their home place. What do you look for finally for this team to get to play again in Burke-Tart Stadium?
We got the 2 football Hall of Famers with Jay and Mike, and I'm excited for Jay. Jay was coaching here when I first, come to Carson Newman, so we appreciate Jay and all he does for us. And then Mike as well. I've not met Mike in person. We've talked over the phone a couple times, but I look forward to meeting Mike and being able to kind of hang out with him. He's a guy that's been a legend around here for a long time, and so we're excited about those guys going in the Hall of Fame. But, when you talk about, coming back and playing at home, there's points and times to where it's good to be on the road and good to be away. But we're excited about coming back home and being able to, be around the people that love us and hug on us and care about us. And I think that's something to be said about this entire season, man. I've been, ecstatic with the support that we've had and the situation that we've been, man. Carson Newman is a different place to where people really get and understand the message.
You say that, and I do think it's, again, the thing that I'll point to, your practices in the week leading up to Catawba. Energy, enthusiasm, didn't feel like a team that is still looking for its first win. How do you keep that energy still flowing, still looking for that first W?
You know, we continue to talk about the process, and our guys know that, you know, we're 0-5, but we're not 0-5. You know, like that's what the record says, but that's not who we are. And so, you know, we're never going to concede to that. You know, we're going to continue to go out every week and find out, you know, how much better we can get. And I think you can starting to see that on the field a little bit. You know, guys are, you know, starting to buy in a little bit more and more, you know, to what we're doing. They're starting to understand it a little bit more. And, you know, as long as we continue to do that, then at some point we'll find a success on the scoreboard as well.
All right, Mike Clowney, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you this weekend against the Bears.
Looking forward to it.
It's Carson Newman head football coach Mike Clowney. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier. This has been the Mike Clowney Show. Thanks for watching.